10 signs that can indicate motor development issues in toddlers. All parents worry about whether their child is developing correctly at the right speed. During the toddler years, you start to really notice significant development changes. It's important to realize that each child develops at their own pace, so there is no strict rule on when they should be doing certain things. However, there are a few things you can watch out for that can indicate motor development issues. Remember, the 10 signs listed in this video are just as a guideline only, and have nothing to do with your parenting skills. If you are concerned, it is highly recommended you seek advice from your pediatrician or health professional. So the first one would be limited speech at 2 years of age. By the age of 2, your toddler should be able to use speech for more than just highlighting their needs. They will start to have little conversations with you, even though you might not be able to fully understand them. If your little one doesn't know more than 15 words, or they can only imitate speech rather than initiate it, it could be a sign of speech development issues. 2. Stiff limbs. If your toddler's limbs seem a little stiff, it could be a sign of cerebral palsy. Do they have their hands in tight fists or a lot of difficulty moving from one place to another? If so, it could be a sign of hypertonia or high muscle tone, as is more commonly known. It may not be an indicator of cerebral palsy though, but it should be checked out by a doctor anyway, just to be sure. 3. Motor skill regression. Sometimes, toddlers can start to regress a little, suddenly losing their ability to do things they have already mastered. There are certain situations where this is normal, however. For example, if you have another baby, your toddler may start to ask for diapers again, or a pacifier or bottle. This is likely out of anxiety, or simply just copying what the baby needs. The times when it isn't normal include if your toddler loses the ability to crawl or walk, or becomes weaker. In these situations, you should take them to the doctor as soon as possible, as it could be an indication that something is seriously wrong. Some of the problems associated with motor skill regression include epilepsy, a brain tumor, or cancer. Of course, it may not be something serious, so try not to get too worried, but having them checked out quickly is important. 4. They walk on their toes. When your toddler first learns how to walk, they'll typically use their toes rather than having their feet flat on the floor. However, this is usually something that stops once they learn how to walk properly. Occasionally, they may do it as a little bit of fun, or as a general habit after the age of 2. However, if they use their toes to walk on all the time, they have trouble with coordination or they don't seem to be able to hold their own weight, there could be a problem. It could be that your toddler's Achilles tendon is a little short, or may indicate cerebral palsy. There's also the chance it could be linked to autism or language delay issues. So, as toe walking can be an indication of numerous issues, it's best to get a proper diagnosis from a doctor if you suspect it isn't a temporary problem. 5. They aren't walking by 18 months. While all children develop at their own pace, most children should be able to walk by the time they reach 18 months. If they aren't, it may not necessarily be an indication of a problem, but it should be looked into by a doctor. Sometimes baby walkers are to blame, as they can actually slow down your toddler's walking development. This is because they don't encourage adequate muscle growth required for toddlers to walk properly. More serious problems it could point to include cerebral palsy or an intellectual disability. 6. They can only use one side of their body. As adults, we're all either left-handed or right-handed. It's something that all children develop from a young age, and it's completely normal. However, if you notice your toddler only uses their left hand, for example, and they're reluctant to use their right hand or seem unable to for anything, this obviously isn't normal. It could be a sign that your little one has a type of cerebral palsy known as hemiplegia. It's basically where one side of the body is completely dominant. It's actually normal for your little one to have one side more dominant than the other, but this typically disappears by the age of 2. 7. Difficulty eating and excessive drooling. Drooling is something you typically associate with babies, but toddlers do still do it to some degree. If you notice your little one is drooling excessively and they have trouble eating, it could be a sign of an oral motor disorder. This basically means your toddler isn't able to control the muscles required for eating and swallowing. It could also be an indicator for a nervous system disorder or developmental disability. However, a more common cause could be your little one simply has sore throat. This would obviously make it more difficult for them to eat, and they'll likely refuse a lot of meals until the throat heals. However, if the problem persists, you will need to take them to a doctor. 8. Clumsiness. All toddlers are clumsy to some degree, and it can actually be pretty funny sometimes. It's normal for them to fall down a lot and bang into things as their coordination develops. Some toddlers are also a lot more adventurous than others, so they are more likely to take a tumble quite frequently. The thing to watch out for is excessive clumsiness. If they walk into walls or have trouble getting up and down the stairs, it might be worth getting them checked over. Most commonly, excessive clumsiness could be a sign of vision problems. However, it could also pinpoint cerebral palsy, juvenile arthritis, or muscular dystrophy. 9. Trouble manipulating or grasping objects. At around 18 months of age, your toddler should have a fairly good grasp reflex. They'll be able to hold a toothbrush or a spoon, for example, without dropping it. They should also be able to stack at least 4 blocks on top of each other. If they can't, it could be that they're having trouble with their vision, or they may have an intellectual disability. However, these conditions usually cause other symptoms too, so if grasping is the only issue your toddler has, it's unlikely to be anything too serious. Still, it's better to be sure, so if you are concerned, get them assessed by a health professional. 10. They do not stay still. Now obviously, toddlers are known for their endless energy levels. It's completely normal for them to run around the house several times before collapsing with a thud on the floor out of exhaustion. What isn't considered normal is if a toddler is constantly talking, fidgeting, or having involuntary movements. If your toddler appears to be overactive and has a very short attention span, it could be a sign of ADHD. However, it could simply be that they have a very active personality, and this isn't a bad thing. If the problem is more involuntary movement related, such as tics and seizures, it could be an indicator of a problem with the nervous system. Overall, it can be difficult to establish whether your toddler is developing normally. Most of the time, they are usually just a little slower to develop, and there is nothing to be concerned about. However, nobody knows your child better than you do, so follow your gut instinct and get them checked over by a health professional if you are concerned. That's all for this video. If you found this video helpful, we'd really appreciate it if you click the like button to let us know, as well as hopping on over to our website and sign up to our email newsletter by clicking the link in the description. By signing up, you not only stay in the know about everything going on in the parenting world, but you also get exclusive goodies that are only given to our email subscribers. Additionally, the next time you're looking to buy baby, toddler, or any sort of parenting products, I encourage you to take a look at what we have available. Let me tell you, we're not just out to make a profit. We pride ourselves on our high-quality products and excellent service. All clinical products are laboratory tested to ensure they are 100% safe for you and your children, which unfortunately isn't something every company can say. Finally, if your question wasn't answered in this video, or there's anything you'd like to say, please let us know by leaving a comment below. I promise that we'll get back to you as soon as we can. You're also welcome to join the parenting community on our website, where you can talk with hundreds of other parents in a matter of minutes. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and here's to making a positive difference in the lives of our children and the world as a whole.